you're like, okay, well, who am I?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
am I supposed to do? And that was me because I wanted to do the Air Force as a career, and that's what I wanted to do. And I, ever since I was a kid, I like literally just dreamed about being in the military, and like it's just been something I've always looked towards and dreamed of doing. And when I got out, I was like, okay, well, what do I do? Who am I? I don't know what to do. I felt like a ship with no compass, right?
We acknowledge that wars are not always won on the battlefield. Some of the most challenging battles occur within the minds of our service members. Those battles often go unseen. The views and topics discussed on War Culture Podcast may evoke strong and triggering emotions, and all opinions expressed don't necessarily reflect the views of War Culture. We are here to support and stand with those fighting these silent wars. Your mental health matters, and help is available. Thank you for tuning in to War Culture Podcast.
Of course.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast, man. I know it's been like a long time coming, and I appreciate having you here. If you don't mind introducing yourself, just rundown, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello. My name is Sergeant Heine. I'm retired from the Air Force medically. I did 10 years and retired as a staff sergeant. And when I got out, the name kind of stuck because all my friends and family, having the last name Heine your entire life, your first name doesn't matter. You're a Heine in school, everywhere. So yeah, when I got out being Sergeant Heine, the name just stuck. Friends, family, that's all they called me was Sergeant or Sergeant Heine. So I use it as a gamer name because it's funny and catchy, and it kind of stuck, and I just rode with it. So here I am as that, and still to this day, when I introduce myself, people laugh. They're like, "Why would you pick that name?" It's like, oh, it is what it is. So I'm just gonna run with it.
Yeah, you're making it a household name though, so I mean that's a good thing. So,
trying.
My camera keeps freaking out on me a little bit, but yeah. So retired Air Force. You want to kind of go on like what led you up to wanting to go to the Air Force or joining the military in general?
Yeah, so the way I grew up, college was not really going to be an option. My mom would have gave the shirt off her back for me to keep me warm, but like college is not cheap, and also me and my brother really didn't have a desire to go to college. We grew up in a small town, and it's one of those towns that people are born, they grow up, and they die in the same town. And the bars are full of people that would have, could have, should have, and never did. And it's just one of those places that like people don't really escape. And it kind of sounds depressing and bleak, but it's just one of those small towns where they just grow up, live there, and die there, and don't ever leave it. And me and my brother just knew that wasn't for us, and that we needed to get out and go do something because we weren't bad. We weren't malicious kids, but we're kind of we were like bad kids. We got into the bad things, but we weren't like bad people, if that makes any sense. We were
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to put it.
Causing trouble but not getting caught.
Yeah, we're causing trouble, and we needed to get out and become men and get structured and go do something. So we were both initially going to join the Marines together, and my grandpa, who was Air Force, actually talked me out of it. And was like, you know what? I think the Air Force is better for you. And I was there, I did it, and I think that would just be a better path for you. And he ended up talking me into it. So me and my brother basically left for the military around the same time. He went to the Marines, I went to the Air Force. He chose to be a crew chief and work on Hornets. And I went security forces because there was a couple jobs I really wanted to do. There was like aerospace propulsion. There was combat controllers and pararescue, which is really cool. There's all these jobs I wanted to do. And I remember the recruiter at the time was like, I can't guarantee any of those jobs. And I was just like, well, it's a job you can guarantee. He's like security forces. And I was like, what's that? He's like, it's air base defense /MP/security /this/that. I was like, that sounds pretty cool. He's like, yeah, you deploy and this and this and that. And you get to shoot some guns. Like, that sounds like fun. And I was like, sign me up for that. So he can guarantee me for that. And then I joined in as security forces guaranteed. And yeah, that's the rest is history. Did it for around 10 years. So
10 years, that's a good time. So
it was enough time.
It's enough time. Yeah. Well,
I wanted to do 20, but go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was going to say, I think you wanted to go a little bit longer, but the medical stuff kind of came in and kind of got you, but
a different path for me.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, paths change all the time. Like, I never thought I'd be doing this, so here we are, getting to work on new paths together. But I think one of the big things, like when you're in the military, what's some like the biggest impact on you? Because that's an experience. Like, not just a job. Like, it's a life.
Wow, that's a great question. there's a lot of things I think that was the biggest impact on me. And one first thing I'm just gonna right off the top of my head was going from living with your family, like literally, being taken care of and your mom, dad taking care of you, to now you're on your own, was obviously the biggest shock. And it is for most people when they, hit 18 and now you're a man or a woman, you got to go out and do your own thing. Right. And that was a huge shock. Just having that culture shock and life shock of like, you're on your own now. That was really tough. Also too was just like there were so many things adjusting to in the military. Let's see here. One of the things I took away was can you ask your question again one more time so I can refine this? I just want to make sure I'm hitting the point hard.
Oh, you're good. Like the biggest impact you had when you're in the military on your life, whether good or bad, the trajectory that changed you basically.
How deep do you want me to go on this?
As deep as you want to, man.
Okay, all right. This might I might have some opinions that might upset some people, but it's up to you. And if you want me to pass on it, you can just tell me. But there's a lot of things. But some of the biggest impacts was learning to become a man, become self-sufficient, take care of yourself, cook, clean, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of crash course on becoming an adult and doing it on your own. And just being surrounded by a bunch of people who are going through the same thing. Yeah. And learning to lean on others and stuff like that, because a lot of us are pretty stubborn and we want to just figure it out ourselves and do it ourselves and not learn to lean on other people and reach out when you need help. But a lot of the times you think you're going through something alone, but there's several people around you who are going through something similar or worse. And that mixed with just an absolute cultural shock as far as people coming from all over the United States, to include people from other countries. Like we had somebody from the Dominican Republic who's in the Air Force. And I'm not sure how that works with immigration and all that, but we had people from completely different cultures who were working right alongside of us. And just meeting these people from all walks of life and learning how other people grew up, like people who had never driven a car before. I met people who didn't know how to read a clock. I met people who didn't know how a refrigerator works. Like stuff like that. So it was just a complete culture shock, but it was awesome. I loved it. It was scary. It sucked, but it was great. And I wouldn't trade it in for anything. But it also goes much more deeper than that. And I'm really debating whether or not I want to get into this so deep right away in the conversation, because I think this might be a little controversial depending on who's listening to it. But
we can come back to it. Like if you want to wait a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Because I just didn't know as far as to is how you want the structure and how heavy the conversation you want it to be. Because I can make it super heavy and talk about stuff I've never talked about on the stream before, my experiences deployed, like things that have changed the way I looked at the world and stuff like that. So it's up to you, man.
This is my opinion on it. We're here to change people's lives and show them that they're not alone. And like, I know a lot of men come into the military at 18 and that is their identity. And then they come out of the military and like, who am I? Like, I'm no longer a service member. I don't know how my job in the service is going to translate into civilian life. So I'm like, as deep as you want to go, because there might be someone out there that you save because they went through the same thing and they have the same opinions. Like, I'm alone in this and it's bothering me. So you have free reign to go as deep as you want to. So,
I guess I will go on the impact that you said after getting out, because that's another big one that I think is going to help people. But if you want me to go crazier a little bit down the road and you want to hit some of the hot button topics, just let me know. We'll jump on that. But
we can look around to it. Yeah.
For getting out of the military, this is going to resonate with a lot of veterans. And I know veterans' experiences, especially when you're Marines, Marines, Army, and a lot of guys doing infantry and some really tough stuff. Some of the experiences are going to vary, but one of the things that is really important to remember, though, is trauma is trauma, no matter where it comes from or what you experienced. What somebody might be a mountain to somebody might be a molehill to somebody, and what might be a molehill to somebody might be a mountain to the other. And one thing that regardless of where you came from, what you did, one of the things you're going to struggle with when you get out is assimilating back into civilian life. And for somebody who wasn't in the military, it might seem very trivial or maybe not even just compute in a way, but it is such a strange thing going from such a rigid structure and these people around you that you resonate with when it comes to pain, problems, depression, like all these things that you experience in the military, and even again, like from a combat vet to somebody who's maybe doing something a little bit more simple or safe. There's a lot of things that are going to be, you're going to resonate across all jobs and all branches that we go through and experience. And those are become very difficult to address and handle when you get out, because you go for, and this is I'm gonna kind of put this in a way. When you're in the military, for a certain point, a lot of your stuff is taken care of. And what I mean by that is your mission may not be so clear, but your mission is clear as the fact is you show up to work, you put your uniform on, you do what you're told. And as many as the orders might not be clear, but you're showing up, you're doing your thing, and you go home, your medical's taken care of, and everything is kind of just laid out for you for the most part. And you just kind of move forward and go through the motions and do your job. And when you get out, none of that is all right. Now, also medical is up to you, right? If you can't find a job that's going to take care of you, then you got to find a way to pay for it yourself. And it's just a lot of things that were once taken care of for you are no longer taken care of and are up to you. And that was very stressful, as well as the community as well. Because again, I know civilians are going through a lot of the same stuff together, but the community doesn't feel like this, because when you're in the military, the community is more like this, and you're shoulder to shoulder with a lot of people who are struggling, going through the same stuff you are. And when you get out, it's very hard. You feel like you're an alien is the best way to explain it. I know a lot of veterans, when you get out, a lot of us will go to parties, go hang out with friends, and you'll be sitting in a group, a circle with people, and everybody will be talking, and you feel like an alien. You just feel like you are on the outside of the circle looking in, and you just cannot connect to anybody there. Like, it is a struggle. Again, some veterans may not have this, but there's a huge percentage that will go through this. It's the majority will go through this, right? And some of us literally try to seek out a veteran. Like, if you're in a group or you're in a room, you're literally looking for that one guy. It doesn't matter if he was in the Navy. It doesn't matter if he was in the Army, Marines. You're looking for that one veteran to go over and just stand next to and talk to. It's just, it feels like it's a struggle to try to connect anybody that's that wasn't in the military, because you're just part of this, again, this community and this brotherhood, sisterhood, and it's a struggle. It's really tough. And also too, not being able to connect and talk to other people that you feel like share experiences and the way you think as well, is the lack of mission. And again, this is going to be, the scale of this will vary depending on what you did, what part of group you were of, but you feel like you no longer have a mission when you get out, and especially the people who wanted to stay in and didn't want to get out. They got out because they got injured, they got hurt, for whatever reason. You go from having a mission to, you're like, now what's my purpose? Because there's a good majority of people who got in and people who just got in and voluntarily got out that were like, I want to do this or do something like this and kind of stay on this path. And when you get out, you're like, okay, well, who am I? What am I supposed to do? And that was me, because I wanted to do the Air Force as a career, and that's what I wanted to do. And ever since I was a kid, I like literally just dreamed about being in the military, and like, it's just been something I've always looked towards and dreamed of doing. And when I got out, I was like, okay, well, what do I do? Who am I? I don't know what to do. I felt like a ship with no compass, right? I felt like I was a ship in the sea with no wind in its sails, just sitting there, just like, okay, I don't even know what direction to take. So finding a direction and finding purpose was really, really challenging. And I think I've heard this from a lot of other veterans that sometimes it takes years. Anything from a year to 3 to 4 to 5 years until you feel like you've kind of gotten normal again and reassimilated, and you can, find your purpose and direction again. So
I'm glad you said that, because that's like one of the big things that we set up Warrior Culture for, is because I think when you leave, and I could be wrong, I did not serve, so I just want to put the record straight. I just have a heart for veterans, and I think it's that structured chaos that you have in the military goes to an unstructured calmness that's really hard to like function with. That piece that a lot of the combat veterans that I've talked to, it's like, it's really, really hard when you know that your unit's still overseas or something like that, and you're stuck here in this really calm piece. And I know that transition and you're still active military is hard, but like what we want to do with Warrior Culture is basically cut that 5 years down and get you guys like work on a brotherhood immediately, so that when you leave, you can transition back into having a brotherhood of people that are going through the same stuff as you, and you have this large network connection. Because, and I know for you, you kind of came out a little bit early from what you wanted to, so I know you might have had plans and like wanted relationships to continue with friends and with service members that you're with, and it's kind of gone. So like we want to have that. That's why we call it warrior culture, actually, because we want to have that culture after you leave to continue that brotherhood out. I don't know if I've talked to you about that, but
Yeah, you did, and which is awesome, by the way, because that's the biggest challenge. Probably, I would say the number one challenge for veterans is getting out, assimilating mental health and purpose. So, yeah.
well, it's freaking awesome, man. I know it's hard to talk about that some too, because I know the guy that actually inspired this entire thing, like he wasn't the most open about things. Now that he's gotten more open over the years, it's been interesting to see how like thoughts and stuff shifted on him, and like knowing him before he went to his first tour, and then like after I think his third tour, kind of reconnecting with him, and not from like the civilian standpoint. I didn't know what happened to him, because it's not like we had a bunch of tickers of like what's going on in the Gulf War or the War on Terror, and like who's not there anymore. And it was really, really challenging to like keep up with this guy that I knew that he would just randomly like text me one day. He's like, hey, I'm out again. So actually he reconnected because he somehow found my wife's number on Facebook. He's like, hey, are you calling? Like, are you calling? It's like, no, this is his wife though. So let me get you connected with him. So after not talking to him after his last tour for like 7 months, he finally we got reconnected. So that's how this all started. But back to your personal life. So your biggest struggle is like coming out and not knowing what you want to do. And how'd that lead you to what you're doing right now? So you have a unique job that a lot of military doesn't get to transition to. And I don't know. Explain your journey afterwards. Like you can go over some of the medical stuff if you want to, but like what got you to the point now where you're becoming a household name?
So I'm gonna give you the timeline real quick, and then we'll start at the beginning. So I didn't know how or why I got to where I'm at today, but now I know it was God. So that's how we got there, and then there was understanding and clarity at the end, or where I'm at currently, present day. But so when I was in the military, Air Force, right after I got back from Iraq, about a month and a half after I got back, I was getting ready to go to ALS, which is excuse me. No. It was before. No, it was after ALS. Okay, so there's Airman Leadership School, and then there's one you go to. I forgot what it's called, but it's like you go down. So once you make NCO, you have to go to a couple classes, courses which prepare you to be an NCO and be a leader and have people under you and that kind of stuff. And there's a couple things and courses you have to complete, and before you can start being a supervisor and overlooking people. But what I was sent down to Texas, Lackland, to do one of my courses. And when I was down there, I started getting really sick, like just like nauseous, and I just felt like I was dying. Like I didn't know what was going on, but I mean, in the military, until blood is coming out of your eyes and ears, you show up to work and you just keep going, right? You just embrace the suck and keep going. And I remember I went out for lunch during the class, and I was literally pumping gas, and I lost consciousness at the pump, and I woke up on the ground. And I remember my vision was all blurry. I had like what it looked like broken glass cracks in my vision. And I was like, what is going on? Like I do not feel good. And class was starting in like 15, 20 minutes. You know, I finished, I put the, pump back in the pump, and then I got my car, drove back to class, and I stumbled into the bathroom and I splashed water in my face. I'm like, I am like, I can barely stand right now. I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm like, I don't have the strength to stand up right now. And I looked in the mirror, and my eyes were yellow. My eyes were yellow, and my skin was like a yellow orange. And I was like, oh my goodness, what? I've never seen myself look like this before. What is wrong with me? And I stumbled into the classroom, and I looked at the instructor. I was like, hey, do I look yellow to you? And he's like, oh my God. He's like, brother, you do not look good. There's something wrong with you. They ended up calling 911 because I barely had the strength to stand up. The ambulance came, they picked me up, they took me to the hospital. I was in a liver failure. My liver and kidneys were shutting down. And they admitted me to the hospital. I stayed there they put me on the liver donor list. I was there for about, I want to say almost 2 months. I was in a hospital bed. They didn't let me leave the bed. And they were just basically trying to just monitor me because they're trying to figure out what's wrong with me. Why is my body shutting down? And about after, I would say like around 2 months after doing tests, they couldn't figure it out. They called it acute liver failure. They just,
Okay.
something was introduced into my body. They don't know what was going on. And my body was just trying to survive. And later on, so miraculously, I started getting better. My liver numbers, even though I was on the donor list, my liver numbers started slowly coming down. And as those started coming down, my kidneys weren't overworking, and those numbers started coming down. My kidneys are never fully recovered, by the way, but I'm close to normal. Um, and the doctors were like, "We have no idea what happened to you. Like, we do not know." But they were like, they started theorizing. They're like, "Were you in burn pits?" And I was like, "I walked through burn pits every day to reset sensors in Iraq. Like, literally, I was covered in burn pit ash because I had to walk through and reset the TAS sensors on the fence." And they're like, "You were exposed to something, and your body did not like your body reacted to it, right? And now whatever it was is now out of your body, and we think you're going to be okay, but we need to, you need to be coming back to regularly and get your levels checked. Like, this is going to be a process. It's going to be a while before if you ever become normal again, right? Like, you were in trouble, you could have died." And I was like, "Oh man, this is crazy." So my levels got down to a normal level, like, or normal-ish level, enough where they could get me out of the hospital and make me an outpatient and monitor me. And when they sent me back to my base, which was the Air Force Academy in Colorado, obviously nothing was the same. My
Yeah.
body took such a toll from that I still to this day I'm not back completely, right? So, but I started experiencing seizures, like just losing consciousness. Like, I'd be in my apartment or something like this, just doing something, and I would just fall over and smash my head. And that was happening from everything from 1 to 10 times a day. And once you start having seizures in the military, you are no longer deployable. You can't drive. You can't carry a gun. Nothing. So the military is like, "Sorry, buddy, but you are all but useless to us." Um, and once that happens and the military deems you no longer fit for service, there's a couple different paths they can take. They can just separate you with medical benefits or this or that. My captain, my operations officer at that time, love that man. I wish I could. I don't want to dox him, but I'd shout his name out to this day. He fought for me to get medically retired, and which was awesome.
It's
So instead
also
of just being
crazy at
medically,
that's like crazy at 10 years though, man. You get medically retired,
yeah.
right?
So, well, yeah, it depends. I guess there's so many different ways, but it was a blessing for sure to be retired as at my current rank and get my blue ID and everything. So yeah, that's a huge blessing. So he fought for me, and I got me medically retired, and I got out. And once I got out, though, first of all, I wasn't fully back to health. It was about a year. It took about a year of the medical board and stuff like that for it all process and for me to get
Yeah.
out. I think it was about a yearish. But after I got out, thank God I had the benefits, and I retired because I had money, at least money coming in where okay, I can feed myself and have some money coming in. But I had no idea what to do. First of all, I was sick. I was having seizures all the time. It was really rough, man, because I basically became a hermit, first of all, because I didn't want to be around anybody. Like, imagine hanging out with your friends and just losing consciousness randomly. Nobody wants to hang around friends, right? Nobody wants to be a burden or a casualty. So I didn't hang out with anybody. My life, because of the seizures, and then along came with that, with no purpose and being sick all the time and losing consciousness, obviously came depression and anxiety. And one of the seizure medicines I was on that they were trying me on it's called clonazepam,
Yeah.
and that's a very, very strong medicine. It's a benzodiazepine, and it's something that you don't. It works very well, but it's definitely something you don't want to be on for a long time, and it comes with dependency. It's a very strong medication. But my life basically consisted of being sedated all day long and going from my bed to my couch, from my couch to my bed. And that was my life for a couple of years. And as anybody can think and picture that, that's no way to live, and life became bleak and meaningless. Like I was just like, this is not I'm not happy. My life is Netflix on a couch and not going where, not doing anything, and it was rough. And after a couple of years, I started like gaming just to kind of keep my mind distracted because that's something I can do. I
Yeah.
just go play games and lock myself in my room and just hang out with friends. And one of my friends was like, "Hey, do you have you ever heard of Twitch?" I was like, "No, what's Twitch?" He's like, "It's a place where people stream and play video games and you can watch them." I was like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why would I want to watch somebody play a video game when I can just play it myself? Like that's stupid. That's dumb." And I remember I watched now controversial Dr. Disrespect, and I was watching him play PUBG, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like he's got people hanging out with him, they're all chatting, and you just play video games. I'm like, that sounds cool. I mean, let me try it. So I gave it a shot, and I fired up the stream, and for 6 months, my viewers were my phone, a friend that felt bad for me, and my mom's tablet. So it was my first 3 viewers for 6 months, and how I made affiliate. And I went into it with like zero expectations. My expectations were, I just want to do this because I have nothing else to do, and maybe I'll find somebody who's going through similar shit as I am. Can I curse? Sorry.
Yeah, we'll believe it.
I'll try not to. I'll
No,
try
you're
to
good.
keep
You're good.
clean.
You're good. You're good.
And maybe I can find just like mine and have a little community. Like I would love to just play some games, just chat with some people, right?
Yeah.
And it was very slow climb to where I'm at today. It's a very slow climb, but it was a steady slow climb. But it slowly turned in from a hobby to, okay, people are showing up and coming back every day. This is great. Okay, this is something's happening here. To, okay, now I've made partner on Twitch, which I never thought was going to happen. To I think I could do this possibly for a living. Maybe like I can do this for a job now. To going to Demolition Ranch, to being on Unsubscribed podcasts, and all these things just started happening. I was just like, it just one thing after another, and completely just blew me away. And I don't think I'm better. I don't think I'm special. I don't think I have anything that other people don't have. And
I mean, you do have the gun.
Later,
You do have the gun wall. You do have the gun wall.
Yeah, the gun wall. That's it. It's just the gun wall. I got nothing
just a green screen. Just a green screen, guys. It's okay. Don't worry.
Just a green screen. But later on, whether whoever's watching is religious or not, I am, and I believe I was called to this. This was my path, and I was knocking on doors, and they were open for me. And not only did stream and God give me purpose, but it gave me hope, and it gave me strength to keep moving forward, and to just to walk and to let go, and just to be like, just move forward and just go, and just keep having faith, keep looking forward, keep your chin up, keep moving forward. So,
man, it's awesome. It's amazing to me because I mean, with us being what we are as war culture and stuff like that, it's no doubt in my mind that it's God to take something that basically took your life to an abrupt halt and then gave you a new path. Like even though I wouldn't say that God does these things to people, just that's not my view on things, but I do think that he takes everything that's bad in our lives and can make it amazing. Great. I think he opportunity in you and like the passion you have for communities and stuff. Cause what I've been hanging around your community for about 3 years, and it's the guys that I've met there. I mean, the guys that I've met in your community, I've met in person. Like some of my best friends today I met because of you. So it's definitely it's crazy, and it's hard to explain if you don't have like the culture or the experience of like being on Twitch or being in gaming in general. Some of the people that I've been gaming with for over 20 years, like people that I have been personal best friends with, like people that show up to your wedding and stuff like that, people that are in your wedding party. I don't talk to them, but I do talk to the people that I met gaming, and I've met people in the Legion that have been absolutely impactful and like really changed my life, and it's been all because of you took a chance and took something that's been crap and hell in your life, and it's been something amazing. So I appreciate you sticking it out and cultivating this community that you have and stuff. So
appreciate you sticking it out, man, because you know me, I am a mess sometimes. I'm a guy with a compass spinning, just going in every which way, and mine's a mess. I'm a mess, and Tickle here. I call him Tickle. Sorry, guys.
No,
is a very he's been very patient with me, and has stuck with me all along the way through rough waters, thick and thin. So I appreciate him.
Hey, I'm not one to even. No, I'm as scatterbrained as you. So it's like two ships passing.
Yes.
So it's good that we got to get caught up in like that. You kind of touched on a lot of what I was gonna lead you into, so which is awesome because you've done this before. No, kidding. I think one of the big things for us in warrior culture is we want to change and like continue to bring on a couple of core values within the military community, and one of the big ones is integrity. And I don't know how it transitioned from you like having integrity when you were in the military, because that's a core value in the Air Force, but transitioning out and having to like maintain integrity. And like me, that integrity outside of military life is like what you do behind closed doors is still as good as it is in front of people. So I don't know how that kind of transitioned into your life and carried over with everything that you went through. I know when you're down like you were, integrity is a really hard thing to keep. So I'm kind of curious to thoughts are on that.
Oh man, integrity. That's a really, really tough one because some people go their entire life without having integrity, because what you do when no one's watching and no one's listening is is like literally the foundation of integrity. Like, what do you do? What is your foundation, right? Because integrity encompasses so many things to look at, but it's like, for what always stuck with me is, what are you doing when no one's watching, right? Just because you can do something wrong, just because you can do something wrong and get away with it, are you the one that's going to do it, right? Are you the one that's going to do it? Or are you going to be the one that's like, no, I have self-control and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do what's right and do what's right when I can and always, right? At least I'm going to try to, right? So I think, integrity is something I think everybody struggles with for so many reasons, but between the military, maturing, and finding faith is one of the things that have helped me to try to keep integrity as one of my foundations as a man and a human being.
Yeah.
But yeah, the military is tough because we all have a level of integrity, but you're also surrounded by a bunch of people who are trying to do things wrong when no one's looking. Sleeping on post, all these things that when you're all in a Humvee and you guys drive out into the middle of the desert or somewhere, and you just want to be like, all right, guys, one person stays awake, everybody is asleep, right? And you can boil that down to not having integrity because you're not supposed to sleep. Stuff like that, like,
Yeah.
it's tough because you're around a bunch of rebels essentially. But I guess that's I don't know. For the most part, yeah. I don't know if that touches on what you meant or anything.
No, you're good. You're good. It does. Yeah, I mean, from military, medical retired to where you're at now, it's just love it, man. I know for you, one of the big things that you do with your community is which I honestly miss, and I think you need to bring back, are the mental health talks, which
yeah,
whether the viewership goes down or not, I think it's something that's necessary. And even if the viewership was one, like even for war culture, if we ever have just one person following us and we save that one person, I think it's it's a victory. So I do miss it. And that's one of the big things that I wanted to get you on the podcast in the first place, is because you have such a heart for mental health through your experience and everything like that. So,
you want to know, this is something I've never mentioned before. There's a couple of reasons why I don't focus on. So I always focus on mental health in the aspect I want to elevate others and have a place where somebody can come in and vent and all that kind of stuff. But there's a reason why mental health has kind of taken a little bit of a back burner on the stream. And it's, like I said, there's a few reasons, but one of the reasons, one is there's quite a few people who just don't take it serious and are cracking jokes, and that's just not okay. When when someone's coming in there and like, hey, my dad just died, I'm going through a tough time, and someone's that's tough. And yeah, some of the feedback, I mean, there's a majority of people enjoy it and appreciate it, but there's a couple of crappers in there that have kind of brought the mood down, and it kind of dissuaded me to continue doing that, even though I should, and just ignore them. And another big part of it is, again, I've never mentioned this before, is because my views on mental health have actually shifted. And what I mean by that is, before I focused on mental health as in cognitive behavioral therapy, exposure therapy, all that kind of stuff, which I got from the VA and helped out a lot. But one of the biggest issues I was having in my mental health at the time is I didn't have faith. I didn't have my new mission and my new purpose.
Yeah.
And mental health and faith go hand in hand, and a lot of people don't understand that, and they're trying to correct something without the other. And now that I have faith and mental health hand in hand, I am still navigating and trying to figure out how I can talk about that on stream, because the moment you talk about religion, walls go up.
Yep.
They go up. People are instantly, which again shouldn't stop you, but people instantly recoil and they want no part of it. They're like, la la la, I don't want to hear you. Just another one of those crazy people. I'm gone, right?
Yep.
And something I've learned from the military and life and all that stuff is I've gotten really good at it. Something called verbal judo. And something I learned, being small time as a police officer, is talking people off the ledge, talking down situations, kind of navigating it with your verbal judo to talk to people in a way where their walls don't instantly come up, and you can kind of like bring them in slowly and then talk to them and resonate with them. And I haven't figured out yet how I can do that and maybe guide some people, because there's a lot of people out there who are just walking in the dark, and you clearly know what they need. You clearly know what they need. And if you even try to mention it to them, they're going to be like, nope, I'm happy being miserable. I'm going to go back and just keep doing the same thing over and over and just be depressed. And you know what they need. And they need purpose, they need faith. So I don't know how to blend the two yet and do it in a way where I can gather more people to it and inspire them without having walls shoot up, because there's a bunch of people in the community that I've come across who are clearly not interested in that, but I know they need it the most. And I need to figure out a way to bring them in slowly and show them that their lamps can burn bright too. So that's one of the biggest issues too, brothers, because the way I look on it has shifted. So
no, I completely understand. Mine shifted as well, like from recent life events and stuff, last 2 years or so like that, and going through like civilian based PTSD and like severe depression. Like one of my biggest views was, as being a civilian, is like, at what point where I see military men's wives leave, I'm like, at what point does like your vows not mean anything, that you're leaving this man? And like going through that and being married and having a family and stuff, I completely understand like how bad it can get, enough that the person that you've spent the rest of your life with or want to is just like, this has got to change, or this is going to change, So it's kind of one of the things that we do. And I don't talk about it a lot. And it's one of the really big parts of like warrior culture, but we do what's called sozo prayer. And if you guys go look it up, you're going to be like, this is the strangest thing I've ever heard. But like, it's basically you sit in a room with someone that's trained to give you the questions that you need to ask, whether you're a Christian or not. It's more reflection on like what you hear, not what someone else is telling you. So if you believe in, I'm not going to say religion, but if you believe in Christianity and the relationship that you have with God, and you're listening to him, and if you're not a Christian, listening to like, inner truths and stuff like that. So the inner healing is quite a bit different. So that's one thing I don't talk about a lot, because like my community is not near as big as yours, but as soon as someone comes in with mental health, that's one of my big tags, because whether it's on the Tickle Me Herbert page or the Warrior Culture page, we want to do mental health, and the chat shuts down, and you bring up religion, and then they're just like, any help that they might have received if they're not religious is just gone. They're like, okay, this he's going to start preaching at me, trying to splash me with holy water. And that's not what we do. But, so I do feel you on that. But yeah, it's an interesting take, that the way that it shifted in like the last 3 years from my standpoint too. And kind of one of the reasons that where we were taking warrior culture has completely shifted to where we are now. And
that's where integrity comes into play too, is because like, if I can't sit here and try to help people with mental health, if what I believe and what I feel has changed as well, because that'd be disingenuous. So like, I gotta stick to my guns, and I gotta keep that integrity. So since my views have shifted, so will my content. So
yeah. No, man. Well, I really do appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
I think it kind of showed a different side of Sergeant Heine some people might be used to seeing, but behind every see the right way to put this, because I don't have the verbal judo. Behind every internet personality, not to say they're internet personality, there is a human behind it, and past struggles. And although they tend to put a lot of energy on camera that you don't see behind, and like the exhaustion that you feel afterwards, I appreciate you just taking some time out of your already exhausting life and schedule, and really appreciate you coming in and opening up in a new way, I think. So
yeah, it was an honor, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
Yeah, dude. Awesome. Thank you so much.